Hello and welcome to the A Stab in the Dark podcast. We're talking about Squid Game Season 2 right now. I'm in the middle because I have not seen it. Over here is Joe.
Hi.
You know him from usually this seat. Here is Dave.
In the same old seat.
He always sits in that seat.
In the classic Dave seat. So, Dave, what did you think? Just overall.
Can I go super spoilery?
Well, no, spoilers.
Not straight off the bat.
No, I'm just diving in.
This is the spoiler-free section,
No
Dave.
spoilers,
Yeah,
no
don't give
spoilers.
him a heart attack.
I really liked it. To be honest, I really liked it. I think it was not as good as season 1 overall.
It's a tough act to follow, though.
It is a tough act to follow. I did really like it. I think it had the best episode of the whole show in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
The first one.
Better than the old
Really?
man episode in the first
Yes.
season, which was really good?
Yeah, I think so. And I definitely cannot wait for what follows.
And Joe?
Yeah, I actually really, really enjoyed this. I came late onto the hype of Squid Game in the first series, but I was right there for this one. And I don't think I'd prefer it, but I wasn't there to experience that acclaim it had at the start of it. So I've come into this a bit more kind of tempered in some respects.
But for me, I actually watched season 1 before it got popular. Like,
Right.
I literally watched it the day it was put on Netflix.
Putting your hipster
Yeah, for sure.
qualities
And when
out
it got
there.
popular, I
Yeah.
hated it, of course.
as a tradition.
I just, the stars aligned basically that I booted into Netflix. I had a free evening, and it just happened to be the day that
nice.
it was on. And I read the synopsis, and like any death game,
Yeah,
I love that.
especially
Sign
if
me
it's
up straight
Korean,
away.
It's probably going to
Yeah, I also
quite brutal
love
violence and
the South
so
Korean
on.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love that about this is the South Korean style, that like sort of Asian style of. They haven't lost that with the second series either. I think they still tap into Asian cinema and Asian TV shows. It would be very easy to like Americanize it.
Oh yeah, because it took the world by storm, right?
Yeah.
and season 2 was.
I would have presumed it would get
Yeah.
a lot more American, especially as a lot of people watched it dubbed.
I even found the music still very Asian. Like, like some of the stuff they in the background. I was like, you wouldn't hear that in an American show or an English show.
Well, like the dum dum dum.
Yeah, but no, just the music choices in general and the soundtrack.
Is that how it goes?
No,
Yes.
but the soundtrack in general, and it still maintains its. There's scenes where the characters inside the games, like when they're in like the Big Brother bedroom type scenario, where they're there, and they talk about where they're from in certain areas of Korea and stuff. So I think it maintains all of that as the first season did. I think it's very true to it, and I also think that they've been very clever. They've created not something that is exactly the same. They've actually, out of something that wasn't meant to necessarily have a second series, they've created quite a solid, cohesive thing.
It's
For me, the end of season 1 did seem a bit like it was tacked on a lead into the next one.
Yeah. I mean, it was. It's basically like the guy's life's work, right? Season 1.
Yeah.
And they had no plans for a season 2 or anything, and certainly had no expectation that it would take like the world
like
by
the
storm.
biggest
like it did.
show on Netflix for that year. Yeah.
But yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's one guy writing it and directing it every episode, which is quite amazing. Like, I mean, you hardly ever get that. And to be honest, like,
it's a good recipe for a good show, though, right?
it is. But
All one person's
especially with like all the eyes on the world on it on season 2, like I would have maybe expected like Netflix to step in, especially if they're already kind of maybe forcing him to do a season 2 anyway. I'm surprised that they let him have so much control over it. And
it's kind of like a media thing now, because they had the live action reality show
it's
games
like
and all that kind
I
of
mean,
stuff.
like, the people don't understand irony clearly, but it's like it's a I mean, it's a like an empire. It's a juggernaut, isn't it?
Well, it's full blown brand, basically.
Yeah,
they sell like tons and tons of marketing kind of stuff, like plushy dolls of the Squid Game, faces
Like
and all that.
the girl, the green red light green light game. That's become really iconic, hasn't it? I saw on Google, actually. I googled it yesterday, and there's a little game you can play if you press like the the card that the guy gives in the train station in the underground stuff. If you press that, there's that card in the bottom of your screen on your phone, and you can play red light, green light.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
on Google.
Cool.
So it's huge. It is like a juggernaut out there. You can kind of see like the writer would be kind of against that, and what this stands for, in a way, is like what Squid Game has become is almost what it was trying to advertise.
Yeah, it's kind of
that's actually
to the point of the show.
That
isn't it?
it actually, we probably won't be able to talk about it now, but then maybe we can talk about it like off camera, maybe you and I, Joe. But like that, precisely that point, like is why I think season 3 is going to go the way that I think it's going to go, for precisely that reason. Because like the whole thing is basically.
Do you think it's going to be a Joker 2 situation where they're going to spit on the audience that likes the games?
Maybe not exactly, but
there's already some backlash. So I was just saying to you as we were preparing for this, I went on Facebook and there's an advertisement, and some people are on there going, "There's not enough of the games. I want more of the games, and there's too much talking." And I'm like, well, that was season 1 as well. Season 1 had a lot of talking. There was a lot of exposition. There was a lot of stuff going on.
There's only 6 games in season 1.
Yeah, I
right?
know.
Like,
And I was just sort
But
of
at the
like,
same time, it is supposed to be about the game, so I kind of get
no,
what they're...
it's not.
no,
though,
it's
is
about
it?
people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about how
that's
the
people
whole thing
say
is a
about-
commentary.
I fucking hate the Hunger Games, and the Hunger Games stopped being about the Hunger Games after the first
Yeah, but
2,
that's
right?
the Hunger fucking Games. This is This is different. This is better than the Hunger. This has a lot
Yeah.
more credence.
Well, it's very easy to be there, but yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
You like so you both like the direction it's gone in. You didn't.
I
want
do.
more
Yeah,
of
I really do. Actually, I think it's quite stylized. I think it's quite slow and methodical in paced until you get to the games, and I like that. It's kind of it's almost a breath of fresh air for the frantic pace of things these days. So I like that it's
Well,
kind
it
of
tends
like that.
to be a lot of people's problem with media literacy and their ability to not, fixate on something. Like if those same people that were complaining in those comments tried to watch Better Call Saul, they'd have a heart attack.
No,
Yeah.
At the slow turn.
Exactly.
Pacing.
But it raises the stakes in a way when you do that, and you actually fully expand on the characters involved. And I like that they've built up a brand new cast of characters. There's obviously some returning into this, and there's a nice, interesting side plot that runs throughout this outside of the games.
Yeah.
Which for me was actually the weakest part of this season. It's the one thing I would.
It's a bit bizarre, and it's not. We're not at the end of it though. So
No, I know
I'm
we're not-
reserving judgment
we're
on
not-
it
It might
for
be
now.
a payoff.
In my opinion, it's like one episode of plot. After the
Yeah.
first episode, is that 7 in there? 7 episodes.
7 episodes.
I would
yeah.
say there's about 6 episodes running this story. That's about 1 episode's worth of plot with a twist in it that's really fucking obvious in my opinion.
Yeah, it is very. Yeah.
But I was actually most excited about that plot after episode 1, and then I got a bit disappointed by it.
I'm reserving judgment because if no spoilers here, but season 2 isn't going to be the end of Squid Game. So if you're going to the last episode thinking there's going to be a resolution to almost everything that is built in this season, you're not going to get that here.
Yeah, it's definitely been confirmed that season 3 will be the end of the show.
And next year as well. I
Yeah,
think.
and it's next year.
Yeah.
Because they've been like written and produced.
Is it first quarter? Second quarter? Something like that? I don't know.
I
Anyway.
don't know. To be honest, I would expect it to be this time next year, to be honest with you. Catch like the holiday crowd
Maybe,
every
yeah.
time. But I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's better to think of season 2 more as a season 2A. And
Yeah.
then season 3 is a season 2B.
It's like how The Walking Dead did their
Yeah,
mid-season
yeah,
finale.
yeah.
It's very in that sort of vein. I
Yeah.
think.
That is the thing that would put me off, though. I've been on the record many times saying I don't like half of a movie, even if it's really good, like the
Yeah.
Spider-Man animated.
Well, I did think you might get pissed off at
Yeah,
like
but
the
at
ending
least
where
if you
it
go
leaves
in
it.
knowing that it's not a true story, like a full story, I guess.
And I think that's what's
better.
pissed people off online when I've looked online. Some
Yeah.
people are a bit funny about that.
Because I hate it when it catches you unawares, especially if it's a movie, which is much more, presumed to be self-contained, and it's not.
He's still bitching about Spider-Man. Jesus
I am,
Christ.
man. It's just so good until it's not, because it's only half of a movie. But So-
Gwen's story is complete.
Anyway.
Okay.
thanks for that, Spider-Man people. But yeah, are we moving into spoiler territory?
I
or-
think so.
Yeah.
Do you
okay.
think so, Dave?
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about spoilers, yeah.
All right.
All right, spoilers from this point, and Joe can go first this time.
All right, I kind of really like the ending. I love kind of the ending with 001, who is obviously the the head of it all. And
Oh yeah, so okay, yeah.
well, and he is, and I I like that he finally shows his true colors and then comes back and kills his best mate.
Yeah.
And then leaves it like that. I like that ending. I have no issue with the cliffhanger that we're left with, and that he's presumably going to get put back into the games to carry on and continue. And
number one, yeah.
Post-credit scene where they're bringing back with the girl, like they've added a boy as well with the red light, green light thing.
Oh yeah, there's two of that too.
So they've alluded to the next game.
So they can't hide behind each other, isn't it?
So they're going to do some kind of like one-up
Maybe.
version of the games from the first one.
Should we give some context to Mike, or should we try not to do that?
Well, no, I don't really think it's necessary in too
well, I mean,
much. Like,
they're presumably
presumably if you're watching spoilers,
yeah. So
Well, I will say that the character that is number one in this Squid Game is a great character.
he's really good.
He's really good. In my opinion, his very existence lessens, in my opinion, the intelligence of the main character considerably. The fact that he's as successful as he is. In fact, while I know that the main character's decision in the final episode is literally the point, that's the creator of the show saying this is the point of the show.
You think he's watching?
Well, I think that like number one being a plant should have been first on his list, given what happened last time.
Yeah.
He literally goaded the masked guy into playing the game with him and didn't expect it whatsoever. He ignored several red flags. I think that his decision to, despite constantly trying to end the games, to basically sacrifice all of his team members in order to get revenge. A lot of people complained about that. I think that it's very on message. It's exactly the point. And yeah, so my prediction going forward is that the main guy, Jihan, will have to watch number one go back into the games and completely undermine his faith in humanity to the point that Jihan will eventually take over the games, I think.
Oh, really?
I think it's going to be an ending because that's the fuck you ending. That
is the fuck you
that
ending.
he should have left.
Yeah.
He should have left.
But
Just
then
like,
surely this is the fuck you ending.
Yeah, but it's not a complete ending. Jihan, because Jihan is still like ostensibly on good. He's still against the games.
Yeah.
But he's going to he's going to be corrupted by the games because
I can see that
the world
actually
has been corrupted by the games.
Yeah.
By making a real Squid Game for entertainment, as Netflix has done, and by forcing his hand into making a season 2 and a season 3 against his whim, completely undermining the message of the season 1. I think that's how it's going to end season 3. That's my prediction. I will say so I mentioned episode 1 at the beginning. So they bring back and spotlight a character from season 1 that only got a little bit of screen time, which is the guy that recruits them. You know, the guy that in the subway station plays the game with them, offers them money, and then slaps them.
Sure.
So he gets a spotlight episode.
Mm. Is that the episode you're talking about being better than?
That's the first episode.
It's the first episode of season 1. It starts so strong, and that character is incredible. Really, really incredible, and that episode is brilliant. And the final, like the climax of the episode, it's so well acted. Like that guy is amazing. It's the guy from Train to Busan, the main actor from Train to Busan plays that guy. Yeah, and he's brilliant. And him and the main actor from Squid Game, Jihan, I don't remember the actor's name. It's just the two of them, like a two-hander scene. It's incredible. Right. Really, really good.
I do disagree with you though. That's the best episode of this series. I think it's a good episode. I think it's a building block onto the rest of the series. But I didn't come out of it going, that's incredible. I just came out of it thinking, yeah, I'm ready for the next. I can't wait till they're inside the games again.
Yeah, but don't you think, like looking back, it's the best episode though? That nothing meets the standard set by that episode.
I don't know, because I really, really enjoyed the last episode of the series. I was like,
that was the worst episode for me.
No, see, I really loved that episode. That was brilliant. Is that
because it didn't fulfill what you wanted it to fulfill? Or are you saying standalone that episode was the weakest?
Well, because like for me, like I said, like that whole thing is a fuck you to the fans, in my opinion. He undermines everything that he's built himself to be, the main character.
Yeah.
He sells out everybody basically and gets so many people killed for a stupid plan that's not a plan, just to get revenge.
No.
I mean, it is the point of the show, but it's
Hold on,
it's
though,
so
Dave. Hold on, because you're saying that, but the whole point of the mass leader being in there as 001, like when he says, so you're saying sacrificing a few for the greater good, you can see he's literally winning in this scenario. His ethics and morals, he's been able to mold it. He's been able to do exactly his little plaything by putting him back in, and he's winning at this point in the story. And that it's brilliant. It's a brilliant subversion to me of what was.
No, it's not a subversion. For me, it feels just like a contortion of that character to betray himself.
And you have pre-existing notions then of what that character is to you.
No, I mean,
like the Joker. Like for me, Joker 2 was a complete disaster. But I have preconceived notions of if you've watched Squid Game from day one and you've had all these ideas in your mind.
Well, the problem is that I find the main character, because I rewatched season 1 before watching season 2, and so it's actually relatively fresh in my mind. And firstly, again, I don't remember the name of the main actor, but he's an incredible actor, and he shows so much range over the course of the show. But I think my only criticism, and I really actually have no idea how common people think of this, I found him as a character quite inconsistent. He's introduced basically as a complete deadbeat. He's a gambling addict. But the second he steps into the game, he's completely altruistic. He's altruistic for the rest of season 1, except at the very end of season 1 as a bait into season 2, where he does the stupid decision. But that ties back to his gambling addiction. But for most of the show in season 1, he doesn't have that trait anymore. It's like he's out the game, and then suddenly, oh yeah, he's a gambling addict. Okay, we're going to use that basically as, okay, his gambling addiction is now I'm not gambling with money, I'm gambling with my life because I care about this anymore. And it's the same in season 2. He's basically a different character again. He's now, it's like 2 years later or whatever. He's trained and he's dedicated his life to revenge. But then the second he steps into the game, it's not really about revenge anymore. It's about getting the games to end and saving people's lives. And then it gets to the very end, the final episode, and then he betrays all that, and then suddenly it's about revenge again. Suddenly he'll sacrifice all of the exes. He'll sacrifice them all for revenge against the game, to get revenge against the game players, but not to end the game anymore. He suddenly doesn't care about them anymore. And again, it's consistent with who he is before he enters the second game, which is somewhat consistent with him being established as a gambler.
So you don't believe that the characterization even makes sense across the entire...
No, it's almost like they want to have their cake and eat it too with him.
I disagree with you, because like at this point we've seen all of these votes. The voting especially gets a huge part of season 2.
So they changed the rules slightly. So
anyway, so the X's and O's, like at this point, he's tried everything to get these people out alive. He's done everything he can to get them out. And then a huge fight breaks out and everything is turmoil. Like, it's lost because the games are so warped. Even on the tannoys, when you can see them all coming, all the soldiers coming, it's like, we're now going into the special games. This is the special games. Like, get ready for the...
Yeah, it's just like season 1 where they factor the fight in.
And they give them forks.
They engineer the fight,
But he is naive to the point where he thinks he's got any chance. And then he gets that full front where his best friend gets murdered in front of his eyes at the very last scene.
Yeah, but that happens like way after he's made that stupid decision.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. He's been led down this path. He's been played like a fiddle. Like, there's nothing to him. Like, he thinks he's in control, but at no point in the time he's out of that game and those 2 years where he's been building up to this and then here, is he in control at all? Like, he's given enough leash to feel like he's in control, but they all of a sudden yank him back, and for all this time he's actually been on this leash. And I think that's finally come to him. You know, there's this sort of wave of soldiers where they bring in a certain amount of soldiers and they're like, this is everyone we've got. Or they're led to believe that. Actually, they have like 1,000 other guys who are ready to come in. So I kind of don't mind that his character goes through these different. I didn't see him being inconsistent like you have, actually. I didn't see that in his character, and I still don't necessarily see that.
You think he was always just dumb?
I don't think he's dumb. I just think he's out of his depth. I think he's playing the hero. I think he thinks he's a hero. He's lost. He's lost his perspective.
If he thinks he's playing the hero, he wouldn't sacrifice his team to like get the revenge at the end.
No, but he's sacrificing for the greater good. This heroic that he let a few die to save the many.
I don't think that kind of utilitarian thinking is very heroic, and I don't think he would even say it was necessarily.
No, but he's desperate at this point, isn't he? Within it, like within the show, he's this is desperate. Like they're down to 100 from 4, 5, 6. They've gone down to 100. He's lost it. He's already lost. If his idea of going in there was to save everyone, he lost after the first vote when people wanted, and money and greed overwhelmed them, and the O's won. I don't see him being, because we're led to believe he's a hero figure as well, aren't we? When he turns away from the plane and goes back in and then builds up for 2 years and he becomes like Sarah Connor. You know, we almost come back to him and he's got a bathroom full of guns and like, you know, we're led to believe he is ready for the apocalypse now. But he's not. And it's that subversion that the audience is going through at exactly the same time, where you think, yeah, he's going to do it, where they're going to get to the control room. They're nearly there, and you think that the soldier, the trans soldier, she's going to go back in there and grab the magazines and be able to run back. And she doesn't. And it's like, no, just leave it. You know, just save yourself. And it's always this greed and putting yourself first over everyone else. And really, he's the only one in there who isn't thinking like that. That's what stood him out, is the way that he actually thinks of other people. He's still an addict, but he's 1 in 500 in that first game, basically, isn't he? Mm-hmm. You know, someone's going to step up. Someone's going to do well. And it might not be necessary. They're all deadbeats that go in there. And someone is going to do well and find another gear. And he just happened to be that one there. But it doesn't make him all of a sudden Batman. So I'm not totally against what happens, and I really like that final episode. I was like thinking, God, this is like 24 or something. I was quite enjoying the action sequence, and I was enjoying where it went. I was like, this kind of reminds me of 2000s American TV, the way they're pinned down, and weirdly.
I do see that.
I just really enjoyed it, and like I was like, my heart's going. I was having a great time watching it. So I would say I just enjoyed that episode, and then the betrayal of, in a way, you don't know how 001 is going to act, because he's been around this guy who's maybe changed his personality somewhat. Maybe he empathizes, but he lacks all empathy.
I think I knew exactly how it was going to go. I think that maybe that's my problem. Like, I knew the second that he did something like that it was like, okay, Jihan is here, and we need him to be captured. How are we going to... We're going to make him act out of character, I think, to get...
But I didn't see that. I saw him being played like a chess piece, and that he just was able to go into the game.
Well, how exactly did number one manipulate him into doing it?
Because just the way he acts throughout, he acts like his friend, but he also has this edge to him.
Yeah, but he doesn't actually make him do anything.
He doesn't make him do anything, but he always offers an opposite opinion. They're fighting for the leadership of those who actually believe. You know, he comes across to him after the first game, goes, I believe you. I know that you were in here before. I'm with you, and becomes his disciple. But then all the while, he subtly undermines him throughout the rest of the show. And he's subtly giving an alternate opinion. And till, in a way, the power balance has changed by that final episode. They're kind of on the same level, but he's kind of just above him.
Yeah, but why does that make any difference to Jihan? Maybe like the others
because
might
he's subtly changing his, like, the way he's acting and the way he is within the show. Like he's kind of offering an opinion about, well, the one they're like, we're going to fight back tonight and we'll fight back. I think that's what Jihan would have done in the first series. So yeah, I kind of just think he is subtly changing Jihan throughout this series. Like, and I think his tactics are they're not very noticeable within the show, but I just think his presence and the way he changes those around him to not just look at Jihan as their like sort of demigod. Instead, you've got this alternate view throughout. And also behind the scenes, we're not seeing everything that's going on. We're not seeing the full picture. You know, it's not until that last episode that we do see that this is a game. This whole section here is just an extra game, and it's all planned out and plotted out. So there's a lot of plotting, I think, that we're not seeing on the screen that is necessary.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that like the fight and everything being a game is kind of implied, and that was made very obvious in season 1. And it was pretty reasonable to assume again, as when they gave him the forks, that it's all planned. And I never like felt that number 1, you know, was not fully in control of what was going on. But it just felt like we need to get him here, and I knew like I knew as soon as that happened that, I mean, they were setting up a lot of death. So I will say, just as a side tangent, that the new characters that they spotlighted in the games, I really like them.
I do too.
I really like them. Yeah, the trans woman that you mentioned was brilliant in that final episode. Yeah. She was easily the best part of that episode. Yeah. And she was great all the way through. But then that final episode was great for her.
I love the mother and son.
The mother and son.
They're really fun as well.
What did you think of Thanos? Because I liked him.
Thanos, he was so great.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like when he speaks English, he's great.
Yeah. So every now and then he's like he
spurts out some English words.
He's a rapper, and every now and then he'll throw out just some English phrases.
Yeah.
He's played by T.O.P., who's like a famous K-pop star. Right. Who's got like no acting experience.
And he says, "Where's your Infinity Stone?" So he's like, "Yeah, motherfucker, here they are." He's so good.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
He takes some sort of like pill that sends him and like in the games he's always like
he's just like derailing everything.
He's a good times guy.
Like in the red light, green light, they're all like minus spoiler for that, but it's fun. Like they're all lined up to not get seen, and he just goes. And just like pushes a whole bunch of people down to die, and he's just skipping around like having to. It's like MDMA or something.
Also, I have to be like, it's really annoying in that opening scene where they're playing red light, green light, and he's going like, "Do not move," and he's like, like doing all this. I'm sorry, he's dead. There is motion detected there. Like, come on, it's a shitty motion detector if they cannot see him going. Don't move!
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Rewatch it. Yeah. And come on, you agree with me. Comment on there. What else did I like? I really like the side plot of the soldier who started as a like working at Disney World or whatever in the first episode.
Oh yeah, I've completely
forgot about that. It's one of the best parts.
It is good. Yeah, because you think that they're setting her up to be a player. And then at the end of the episode, she actually ends up she's recruited as a soldier.
Because she's living in a car, basically, isn't she?
Yeah.
And then she kind of has this about that girl.
Yeah, and
she has this relationship, like almost.
Yeah, she works in like a theme park or something. Yeah, it's like she dresses up, and she has a relationship.
She dresses up as a mascot.
Yeah, and like it's like the caricature artist or whatever. His young daughter.
Yeah,
she has cancer.
But he's in the games, isn't he?
And he enters himself into the games.
And he absolutely is killed by her in that final episode.
She kills him?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because he's one of the soldiers. Like, he's one of the guys that breaks out and fights.
Yeah, I know he is.
And then he goes, "Oh, I've got a sick daughter."
Yeah.
Before the soldier kills.
Yeah, but that's not her. That's not her. Because she had him in her crosshairs in episode 1, or in the red light, green light. Yeah, but she's changed. No, and it was a triangle. I think it might be. There are so many triangles. All the soldiers are triangles.
I know, but
it's not her.
They specifically say in that moment, and she's all of a sudden changed because there's the threat of rape and there's the threat of death on her. Whereas in the first episode, she thinks she can get away with anything.
Or is it not left ambiguous, at least?
Yeah, it is left out. This is why.
Well,
this is why.
Yeah, but you seem to be definitively saying it's not her.
It's ambiguous. Come on.
Like, it's a soldier in a mask that shoots him. For me, like, narratively, it makes no sense that she would change that much.
Yeah, but it does because it's foreshadowed earlier in the show.
This is not true foreshadowing.
Wait. It's foreshadowing because there's another character. It was the train guy. He says he was cut out for this when he had someone in his crosshairs who he knew from the outside world and then shot them and killed them. That's one of his final moments when they're in doing that duologue. So it's almost that's foreshadowing her demise into being truly evil.
I don't think she's being set up to be evil.
She's definitely evil. She's just killing people left, right, and center. Even if she's involved. She is most definitely like evil. She's just killing people. Like she's, even though humanely, unlike some of the others, she's killing them outright. She's still bad. She's a soldier on the ground of Auschwitz. Like there's nothing good about her at all. Like she's privy to everything that's happening in that place, and she hasn't sounded the alarm.
Well, I thought that the whole point of her character was to show that it felt more like the Stanford prison experiment to me. That like it may be like the higher ups, like the people with the square mask, have a bit more control, but mostly people just do what they're told, and they're getting paid also. And she's just as desperate as the players.
We didn't know it was happening. The German defense, but she does know it's happening.
Yeah, but she wants her money just the same. I mean, they kill each other. The players kill each other. They're not bad people.
But again, that's no excuse for her behavior and actually sniping at people in red light, green light, and then killing them. Even if she's shooting them through the head, she's still killing them, and she's still involved, very, very frequently involved.
I think that like saying that she's more evil than the players is like undermining the themes of the show. Like I think that they all want money. Them being the same is much more interesting, I think. And it's like,
but they're not the same.
Whims of the up. No, I think that them being the same, but other side, like arbitrarily on opposite sides of this system, but they're basically the same. I think it's much more interesting, and it's the people that higher up that make this whole thing happen, and that I'm not saying that they're like victims. But
they're not victims. To me, they become evil because they're killing people. They're killing each other.
Would you say that the players were evil?
Yeah, I think they become evil. I don't think they necessarily all are. I think some of them kill because it's just ingrained in us that we will fight to survive, and yeah, that's fine. But there's some people in that, but they're given a choice, aren't they? Every time they are given a choice to leave. And also you got like Thanos, who
but the point, Thanos is entertaining, but like the point is that it's the system, it's the game that's evil, not the people in it. And the people in it do evil things, but like to say that they're inherently evil, or that they become inherently evil, like and lose the context of the system that they're put in.
Well, then are you then saying like the Nazi war system as a system, and the people involved in that, and the people in the SS who were running the camps, and then the people like the soldiers, the foot soldiers on the ground in these sort of prisons and these concentration camps, they're not liable for their own actions within it?
I would say it's like quite nuanced, to be honest with you. Like,
well, it's a balance of both, isn't it? The ultimate evil is the system that allows this to happen, but the people involved are not bereft of their free will and therefore have some of the blame for their own actions.
I do think she has maybe killed that guy, the father of that little sick girl.
Why would they have not made that clearer to the audience?
Because there's a series 3 coming.
Yeah, it might be a revelation later on, I guess. If that is,
they could be holding out for that, and if that happens, that happens. But I feel that they could have showed that in this.
How would they have though, with all the chaos happening around the episode? There's no moment within the chaos for her to lift up the lid and for it to be her.
But yeah, I mean, it could happen.
I don't know.
It could happen.
I'm not sure, but I really thought when he gets killed by a soldier and he's like, "This is my daughter. Like my daughter's. I need this. Please." And then he gets shot like that. Well, if it's not her, what was the point in that whole arc?
Because I think that she'll help Jihan escape when he's in prison, or maybe not. Or maybe she'll try and he'll turn or something.
Be interesting to find out.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. It could be revealed, in a flashback once she, like you're right that she wouldn't be able to reveal her face in that scenario, and then the scene, episode 1 of season 3 will open with her like she's got back to her room and then she's looking at herself in the mirror and then it flashes back and you find out it's her. They could do that. They could.
In the end, though, I think I would actually be quite happy if your prediction comes true with Jihan. He starts running the games. I think that's a badass ending. I don't know what. I'm like not always into subversion and like that, but with this one, I'm just like actually yeah, because it is pretty bad how people have just loving the show because they want to see this. It's almost lost its meaning. So I kind of want to see him become the leader and everyone get pissed off about it.
Well,
Be quite entertaining.
Yeah. We'll see. I guess we'll see.
Well, there we go. I'm guessing you're both done with your editions.
Yeah,
there.
I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
I
definitely
really enjoyed
recommend
this.
it, yeah.
I had a great time with this, and it was nice to actually be on it at the right time.
Yeah.
This time around, and I really enjoyed watching it. I mean, is it good or bad in comparison to season 1? I'm not really comparing it to that because I watched it.
Probably
like
going to have to
recently.
see what the second half of the story.
Yeah,
has to
exactly.
Say, right?
Yeah, it's like a new story in some senses.
Do we have any knowledge of when that's coming? Is that next year?
I like.
Year after?
The
Definitely
only thing
next
I've
year.
seen is March, but it might not be.
That's soon. I will actually look it up. Let's see.
Just like the season 2, we'll leave that on a cliffhanger as well.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Subscribe,
Bye.
like. See you soon.